Okay, welcome everybody to the Pottstown Historic Society. I'm going to be brief because I was at the dentist today and my mouth is real sore, so you're not going to get much out of me. Just to let you know, our roof's been fixed. They were here Friday. What day is it? Yeah, they were here Friday. Fixed the roof. You can look at our display up there in the window. Nice display on the Pottstown Speedway. I welded the trophy together a couple weeks ago, so that's up there also. A little pitch for PCTV. He would like everybody to think about subscribing to the YouTube channel of PCTV. It's free, and he'd like anybody that would like to subscribe to it. It would help him out. So it's a local station, so it's good to support it. All right, I'm getting right to the chase here. Our speaker tonight is John Warren. He's a master broom maker. He's been crafting this trade for over 50 years, so that's a long time. And he's going to kind of tell us what the history of the broom, and we'll see how that goes. John?
Okay. Okay. All right, so my voice is very soft. Sometimes I get emotional about it because it is a passion. So if you can't hear me, raise your hands or whatever. My wife Natalie over in the corner is the school teacher type. She will jump in and yell and scream when I miss something or whatever, so don't mind her. We've been on this journey together. 74, 75.
I was a baby then, so now it was.
Yeah, she's 5 or 6 years.
Get that
Little.
microphone in where you want it.
Okay, everybody all right? On there, I've got one on for the sound for the television or whatever, but 74, 75, I got involved with Collegeville Trap Historical Society. I was working on an Eagle Scout project of scraping paint on the second floor that ended up being their library. Finished the project, got more into, okay, we got to replace beams, we've got to do all sorts of things. This was at the DeWeese Tavern at the corner of 113 and Main Street. It was one of the initial buildings that Trap Historical got involved in. Now they're up to 4. The Muhlenbergs trampled all over that town, basically. And they've been able to restore, they're working on the 4th building now, and they just recently were gifted the parsonage to the Lutheran Church, which is the oldest Lutheran church in America, 1743. My family had a delicatessen across the street from that building, next to the Lamb Hotel. If we're going to talk about a few years back, now it's a big rooming house like every other hotel. They sold the liquor license to some fancy business and made it into something else. Anyhow, back to why I'm here. The guy that was in charge of the restoration project ended up being my junior high shop teacher. His name was Frank Eld. I walked into the junior high shop and he says, I know you, and I'm going to teach you how to do something that's going to raise money for this historical society that you've been involved with for the last 2 summers. And I said, okay, I'm game. The one thing that I guess I had going for me is my parents gave me a very strong work ethic. Their business was open 7 days a week. I don't remember my father ever taking a vacation. I can remember Christmas Day going and checking all the refrigeration to make sure that none of the ice cream melted while the store was closed for the 1 day of the year. So it was sort of like an escape to go to sit on a snitchel bunk and shave a handle for my junior high shop teacher to so he could make a broom on it. So I did that for about a year and a half, and somehow I ended up with the people that put together the Andes House, the Goshenhoppen. I've been at the Goshenhoppen since '75. I missed 2 years in August, '86. I had a son born. Didn't the same son 20 years later get married in August that weekend? And was on, you know, but like I said, I've been at the Goshenhoppen, sitting there making brooms ever since. But basically, to get to it, it's a passion that I developed because of learning something. It's therapeutic and it's repetition. You're doing the same thing over and over again. So it's sort of been a neat therapy, vocation type of thing that's been forgotten about. Every town had a broom works. Where the Turkey Hill Market sits in Red Hill was the Red Hill Broom Works. It was incorporated in, nope, we won't flip through here. Okay, she's yelling at me. I told you she would on there. Anyhow, it was incorporated in 1952. I don't have the name of the gentleman right on the tip of my tongue. He went until 1975 in business in Red Hill. And the one thing that stands out from it is that he went in front of Congress and standardized the weight of brooms on there. There's this size here is a standard kitchen broom, where this one here would have been a warehouse broom. Like I said, and there are differences between them, rows of stitching, length of corn, and ounces. Okay, there's actually a picture of the gentleman, which I have his name in my wonderful PowerPoint on there, that he went in front of Congress, got it approved for the weights from Red Hill, PA. It was right after World War II, and from there, they standardized the industry on there. And another town not too far from here was, what?
You're jumping the gun.
I'm jumping the gun. Okay, jumping my PowerPoint on there. Whatever. Another town not too far from here. Strange place. And a little kid told me, Mr. Warren, I want you to take me back to that place that was the zoo without the smell. And that's Cabela's on there. There's Hamburg, PA. It was actually the broom capital of the East. It was also the end of the Pennsylvania Railroad, or the Reading Railroad, I'm sorry, on there. They didn't go over the mountain for a long time until they finally figured a little more as far as digging and tunneling and things. So the train cars sat there. Hamburg itself had 6 different broom factories at one time. They would fill up anywhere from 8 to 10 train cars a week, and they would ship them out of Hamburg and cover all of the East Coast, east of the Mississippi. Most of the brooms came out of Hamburg. Okay, let's back up to the material.
He's jumping the gun.
All right, we'll let her in here for a minute.
He's not following the notes.
It's,
That's script, yes. But yeah, most people go off the
Watch-
script.
watch your
But it
cord.
is interesting, yes, I see. So the material that is used here is broom corn or broom straw. It's part of the sorghum family of plants, and it gets about 8 to 10 feet tall. Produces absolutely no vegetable, looks identical to corn, produces a tassel. This tassel here is full of seed. Okay, that's how it comes, full of seed. And as you can see, it's bent. It has to be hand checked and hand harvested, so it's no longer commercially grown in the United States, but it's grown anywhere that corn's grown. So this is broom corn. However, they didn't get broom corn here in the United States until Benjamin Franklin brought it over from France. Brought some seed over from France. Gave it to his sister in Hadley, Massachusetts. His sister then planted it. And somehow the seed went down to Sturbridge Village, too. So they planted it. So if you go to Hadley or Sturbridge, they both fight on who grew the first broom corn here in the United States. So that's how it came. And he was over in France doing the Revolutionary War treaty of some sort over there, trying to get France to help us. I gather that's what it is.
Yep. That's what it was.
So the material then, after it is seeded, it's picked. We put it on a wire rack, and we dry it. And then we remove the seed. And all this is in the beautiful PowerPoint. So we remove the seed. We kind of use a curry comb-like to remove the seed. The seed then can either be replanted, or one of the things, if you've ever got wild bird seed, broom corn is one of the seeds that are in there. So when you go by and you see there's a sunflower plant and a corn plant, you're going, what the heck happened here? It's a broom corn. It won't have any seed.
The broom corn itself looks identical to sweet corn, gets the same height. I like planting it next to sunflowers for that height. It doesn't get in your corn. The deer don't bother it. So I'm in Gilbertsville. We still have deer occasionally tromping through the apples. Couple things about the broom corn itself is that it's an interesting crop on there. There was one gentleman by the name of Dr. Sam Ware. He's still alive. He's in his late 80s. He developed a hybrid crop that is only 4 foot tall on there. He was a seed genesis. He was actually in Idaho, and then he ended up in northern Jersey, where I've ran into him over the years. And he developed one that you could cut with a sickle bar. The problem with the broom corn is you get one of these tassels per each plant on there. You had to reach up and hand pick it. I'm fortunate to be the 6'2" I am and the big arms, and you had to swing with a little purry knife, or basically looks like a miniature sickle bar. I should have probably brought that along with me. And you cut each piece down by hand. You end up with massive amounts in your arms. Then you had to drag it back to the wagon, throw it in the wagon, and go back and start again. 4 years ago, we had a total of 6.5 acres out. It took me 18 afternoons, evenings, after working my lovely grocery store job, to pick it all on there. So, and you do get smarter as you do this. You make shorter rows so you don't have to walk as far on there. The other thing that's neat about the router systems, computerized routers, I don't know, CSRs. Yeah, CNC. It's a fancy name I always can't get right. Well, anyhow, he doesn't know what to do with it. So I said one day, I want you to write. I gave him a list of 20-some different sayings, and this is what we came up with. We've been putting them on round handles. This painting design is just the way I clean my brushes. I did some blue brooms, and I just sit there and tap the end on there. I did go to the community college and got an art degree after fighting through a business degree. So I've gone full circle. The ones on the end are a combination of black broom corn and white broom corn. I fell up the steps and spilled the two together. And I said, I'm just going to, on there. So that one I call the zebra on there.
Sell well in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not allowed on the other side of the Susquehanna. No.
I have some statistics here. So this is in 1932, 1933. In the state of Illinois, they did 27,000 acres of broom corn. Missouri only did 1,000 acres. I guess they weren't too keen on that. Kansas, 44,000 acres. Oklahoma, 138,000 acres of broom corn. Texas, 12, excuse me. Colorado, 52,000, and New Mexico, 36. So just in the United States, in that small area, 310,000 acres of broom corn were grown at that point. So, and this was right before, this was 1932 to 1933. And through the years, broom making came on the northeast and then went out to the west when the gold rushes and stuff like that came through. So there were broom makers and all small broom shops in all those areas because of different.
Let me finish that for you.
Go ahead.
What happened, and as funny as it sounds, the Conestoga wagon, right down the road here, Conestoga, PA, was where it was developed outside of Lancaster. The Shaker's furniture at the time was identical to IKEA furniture. You could stack it up in a pile. The broom making machine can be taken apart and made into a pile. It has a treadle wheel that you stand on and use your foot. I have about 18 of these, and I have about 4 of those, maybe 5, don't tell her, on there. I've got about 3 sheds full of this.
He can't
equipment.
complain about my shoes and purses, let's put it that way.
On there, yeah, my hobby's way out of hand. Anyhow, the Conestoga wagon going across the west, the second or third occupation in all the mining towns was the broom maker, once he was able to get handles there, because they didn't have the trees like they have here in the east on there, and they needed the brooms to actually clean and actually to sweep in the mine areas. So like I said, I'm following census from the 1850s, 1860s, and they were listing themselves as broom makers. You had a question back there, sir?
Yes, in this one, I notice you have a nail down
Yes.
here. Does that go actually into the handle?
Yes, yeah, what I found, the first couple that I made, and this is a good one because you can actually see the nails, I used to use wooden dowels.
Okay.
Okay, one would go here and one would go here. You create 2 different crosses, basically, this way and this way. It gives you,
Is this glued on there
No.
then?
No,
Or
it's just
held
nail.
by the binding?
by the binding and the nails on there. With the nails, or some of them lately, I've been using fancier screws. You can see it in this one. I sort of hid a screw in there because I don't have to beat on my elbow as hard with the hammer, some of the oak things. Anyhow, when you put those, either the pegs or the screws in there, you end up with 4 sides. So as long as you fill up 3 of them odd or 3 of them even, my braiding is going to come out as I'm working around it on there. Now, recently, and matter of fact, it was Saturday, we were in Doylestown and we taught a group of 12 or 14 people how to make a traditional round broom. There's been a real interest in having a hands-on class type of thing, so we've done a lot of that in the last couple of years. What else can I tell you?
That's it.
Have a-
The handles be recycled if somebody
Yes.
got the handles back to you after
Yes,
they're worn
yeah,
out?
yeah, I do have 5 or 6 good-sized customers that bring them back to me and reuse them. Sometimes they will
If you
get a
find
little
stick out in the
shorter.
yard.
Yeah, I've been dumpster diving before.
For the first time in my life, just saw your machine that you make. Is it possible to make a broom without a machine?
Yes, yes, good question, and that's what we've been doing with this teaching. What you basically do, and this one's hocus pocus, but you can take another broom handle,
Yeah.
wrap the string around it, drop it on the floor, take your shoes off, and with the socks, use that and pull it towards you. All you need is that tension. And that's what we did on Saturday with these 13 people that signed up for the class. I had them sitting around in a circle and everybody got to make a
They
broom.
made 2 brooms
2
in
each, yeah.
3 hours.
Yeah, on there.
Wow.
Yeah, the first one was pretty simple, then we got them to make something very similar to this. Some of them got lost, which is expected, but we helped them out through it. This can get a band around here to make it a stiffer, rounder broom, or I can take it and just do this and squeeze it in a vise. Or the other thing that I've been using lately, and I'm fortunate that I'm right next to that Liberty thrift shop on there. I get to take my lunch break and run into there. Tennis rackets
Yep.
on there. I take the square frame that's used, and I take my chop saw and cut these two sides out of it. It gives me something with the wing nuts and the springs already on it, and it does this, okay,
Nice.
on there, and I can do it. And then the other thing that I want to point out with the broom making, with the flat broom, with any of these, you do it in batches, just like the wash. I'll do 30 or 40 handles, throw them aside. The next night I might come home and put all the screws or nails in them to get it started. Throw it aside. Do an inside layer. Throw it all aside, let that dry on there. Sometimes I'll soak this and then I can really bend it and make it tighter. This is a good example, that's sort of why I grabbed it. This one was soaked in water, so I can actually get it much tighter than this one on there. Yes, it takes another day or two to dry on there, and you never want to ship a wet broom because it comes back musty type of thing. You know, people think
It's
there's
a
something.
natural fiber, so it will mold. And we
Yeah.
tell our customers, or anything with a natural fiber, a lot of people are like, I leave my broom outside. But it got moldy. Well, if it's outside in the elements, unfortunately, it will get moldy. It is a natural fiber.
And then the other thing we run into is we get a couple questions every time we seem to sell a flat broom. How do you take care of it? Okay. Number one, head up.
Exactly.
Okay. Most people are going to put it in the corner. The
And
weight of this handle is going to give it what I call the Mercedes-Benz of broom on there. Okay. This one here is a good
One of
example.
those grab things, stick it on the wall,
Yes.
get it off the
Yep.
floor.
Yep.
Okay, this one's having a bad hair day on this trip to Pottstown. Okay, I threw it in the truck and got here with it. That item comes on the junk mail. It's a number 64 rubber band. They sell them at Staples by the 500s in a bag. Take it up from the bottom of the handle. Throw it on there and let that sit for a day or two in the closet. When you open it back up, it will look just like a brand new broom. Okay? And we'll pull it all back together. The other thing I do tell people every 13, 14 months, in a bucket of soapy warm water, butter churn for a few minutes. Take your fingernail brush, potato brush, clean these out. You get stuff stuck down in here, and that's going to cause these to break. They're thinner than toothpicks, hair-like, the regular stuff on there. Once
Dry on.
let it dry outside in the sun. If by chance you put it in the corner and you got that Mercedes-Benz, do the butter churning a little bit longer, put a weight on it while it's drying.
Some bricks.
It will pull right back together. Put a board across it and maybe a brick or a cinder block on top of it, and maybe flip it over a couple times throughout the day while it's drying. Again, we're going to put this rubber band on here.
That would be natural material. huh?
Yep. And that should pull that all back together by the time I get it home. But
So
any
some
other
of the-
questions?
In the colonial days, using one of those that you'd had by the fire hearth and so on, what would be the life of one?
Most of them would probably get 6 to 9 months. Plus they had one other purpose with them, which I really love about the long handle. And this is a good builder.
There's a good one over there.
Okay, you can get all the cobwebs.
You get the cobwebs
On
and
the
all that
open
other
beams
stuff with it.
on there. And the other thing I really like about this broom is I live in a tent with these outside shows. Every time it rains,
Fine.
I'm pushing water out of the tent and everybody else is like, why hasn't your tent fallen down? You know, it's on there. And then I end up selling one or two to the other crafters, it seems. on there.
John, our Lions Club in Western Pennsylvania sold brooms. I believe they were made in Armstrong County, north of
Okay.
Pittsburgh. I don't
Yes.
know if you're familiar.
Yeah, there was Johnson Brothers
Yeah, I
out
think
of
so.
out of
And they
Pittsburgh.
always had a real fancy label on, and
Yeah.
if I'm recalling it, was it like a union label or something? Stuck
There
on
was-
those things?
There,
It's like United Broom Makers.
right.
type
There
of thing.
there was a major union that was involved for a while, but then they got into, there were so many independents and it basically broke the union
Yeah.
on there. And then from there, everybody got creative and made special labels. And if you go on the wonderful eBay thing and hit in Broom label, you'll be amazed at the
Yeah.
prices
They
people
always
were.
had a fancy label
Yeah,
on it.
some of them are peacocks, red robins, bluebird.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, yeah, there's some. See, we had it in the PowerPoint. These are from Hamburg
It's almost like
and
peach
Blandon.
crates. They have a label.
Yeah, we were able to find some, and that's what I did. I just played around on eBay and made copies of them because I couldn't.
Yeah.
I bought one or two, but. Other questions?
When you said you had all those acres in the old days, was that just economics that did away with the?
I want to say the combination of economics and what happened in the 70s, up until 1963, it was the #3 cash crop for American farmers. It was tobacco, sweet corn, and broom corn on there. Right at about 64, 65, they came out with the soybean. Again, 120 days to grow it in this area, another 40 to 50 to totally to get it to dry. So you got that half a year. Soybean they could turn around within 3 months on there. And that pretty well, that combination, and then they got to the nylon brooms in the 80s. Pretty well did away with the broom industry. Also, our buddy Ross Perot with the large sucking from Texas, or from Mexico. Yeah, the sucking sound, and I remember that as a young kid, how could he say that on television at that age? Anyhow, I just said it on television here, I'm sorry. On there. But the NAFTA agreement, there was a $4 to $8 tariff, depending on the size of the broom that we talked about earlier, coming into the country. It removed it.
1994.
Okay, it totally did us in as far as an industry. Okay, from there it just basically fell apart until recently. The nylon brooms came out 81, 82. They were very tremendous, successful. Everybody had to try it. It was new. It was exciting. And what happened? We had the oil embargo, so they raised the price of the nylon brooms that make the nylon. Recently, we've had another oil issue with the prices increased. I know I can't afford to go everywhere I want to go. So what did they do in the broom industry? They gave you something new, a paper towel on a stick, and called it a Swiffer. Okay, but that's what they did. They couldn't make a nylon broom to make money on there. But that's
Birds never did a good job
Yeah.
either. Even when they had them nice and feathered out on the end. I mean,
Right,
all
right.
they did was a bunch of dust on the end.
as soon as you push on it. But
Yeah.
that said, there's major nylon broom companies out there that are making all sorts of brushes, mops, things like that that have pretty well taken us little guys out of the marketplace. And part of it is the big box store that has the buying power that, I've got into Ace Hardwares, I've got into a couple True Values. Did real well because I make a decent product. I stand behind it. It's got a solid wooden handle. They can't put that on the shelf. They got a metal one.
However,
However, the
next broom next to it looks similar to his, made in Mexico, $5.99.
yeah, on there. Yeah, they're thinner, but
Yeah,
then
so you're, and a lot of people come to us and they say, why would I spend $26, $29 for a broom? I can go to Walmart and get, or the dollar store, I could do, and we say, go ahead, do them. And then they finally come back to us a while longer, and it broke, or it did that or did that. So,
And the other,
I mean, I'm not, hey, I buy things from China. I try not to, but, some things you need to do that. However, we stand behind our product.
in there, also with these hardware chains, they sell the whole aisle to a jobber. And
And they stock the whole thing.
it's the whole thing. And his kid comes in and fills every little hook and nook and cranny. And as funny as is it Billy Joel? The can of peas, they get put in the back corner on there, and then they don't sell on there. I've been able
That
to.
song's called The Entertainer.
Yes.
The entertainer. Okay, see, I'm close. The
Think
mind,
about that one.
the mind works a little bit at a time here. Other questions? I was told to keep it to an hour because everybody was going to fall asleep.
Wonder, how many brooms do you make a year?
The pandemic slowed me down a little bit because I didn't have outlets on there because I do a lot of craft shows. 3 years back, it was close to 6,000.
Oh, my God.
There was 5,280 some in there. I try to do at least 40 different things at night when I get home. I haven't kicked the dog in years on there. And matter of fact, he lays on top of me and he's my heater on there until I
How long
recover.
does it take you to make a broom?
I can make, again, in batches, you touch this probably 5 times, 6 minutes apiece, type of times 5. So you probably have a half an hour when I'm all done with the broom on there.
Darn efficient.
Yeah, the round ones I can knock out in 14 or 15 minutes total, as long as I have the handles together. The kiddie brooms, I can make the broom itself in about 4 minutes, and then I need to let it dry, and then it takes another 2 or 3 minutes to set up the electric stitcher. That's a good thing too. I didn't show you that. I have a Baltimore stitcher from 1920s, and I finally found a guy that can make needles, and it does 2 rows at a time or 1 row on there. This one is hand stitched. This one I did last weekend, sitting there trying to watch something on television. Television bores me on there. I had to have my hands busy. My grandmother used to say, idle hands are the sign of the devil. And the shop teacher said, John, you got to get patience, and it's a virtue, and you better get some soon.
How much are the brooms?
What's that?
How much are the children's?
I get 13 on most of those, yeah.
But see, people don't realize from beginning to end what you put together.
Right.
So when
Yeah.
you think of
Yeah.
all the steps that you had to go through,
And the pandemic, I had trouble acquiring handles. I ran out. They were hoarding all the wood because nothing was coming in from Canada. On there, I called 3 different suppliers. I got one on the phone. I said, I need an 1.25 inch handle, which is the size that I use for the larger broom. I said, I got an order for 50 of them, and I don't have any handles on there. He says, hey, I got this stuff in the back room. I've had it for 20 years.
New old stock.
I said, what?
It's eucalyptus.
Yeah, it was eucalyptus.
No kidding.
It was all I could do to get a nail into it. I had to pre-drill it, and that's when I started playing with the screws. I said, my arms hurt on there. I still have some of it.
We don't have any here.
No, I don't have any here. Maybe the hocus pocus.
At least it wasn't teeth.
Yeah, on there. I've used all sorts of different ones. I have made some in walnut. I've made
Our
some
favorite
that-
is oak to work with.
Yeah.
Oak is a nice wood. And I,
Maybe?
Yeah,
this
I've done
one right
hickory
here
over the
is
years. Yes.
Can you paint
Yeah,
the,
this one.
the broom
This is
different
poplar.
color? The,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that a little bit, but what my problem
that's
is
poplar.
doing these series
Yeah.
of craft shows, I'm constantly loading
yeah, this one's oak right here.
brooms on top of each other, rub back and forth, and then I end up scratching. I've done some witches and some moons on these. On the black ones, they really look neat, using that as gesso or gasso, the artist paint. If you put that on there, it dries hard, and then you can build from there. But a little bit of it, when they use the broom, it flexes. So you have to make sure you give it a little bit of room. Some of the new fancy crayon spray paints for plastics work interestingly on the brooms. It saves you from spending hours dyeing. The dyeing process, we didn't really talk about. The material itself, the broom corn, to stand up to the weather, it has, let me see if I can find a piece here. It has a wax to it, and it's actually called surfactant is the fancy chemistry name. You have to basically soak it in hot water to get that wax to lift out of it. It looks like scum, soap scum on the top. You scrape that off, then you can apply it to a boiling dye bath. And then it seems to take the color on
It's
there.
a vegetable-based dye, similar to a Ritz dye.
Yeah, but it's a basket-based dye that we're using, but it does take the color on there. I had to go talk to my sewer guy and make sure we were good, because we didn't want to change the whole color of the sewer system. But anything else I can answer?
What is your most popular?
Most popular brooms
Would be our kitchen
would
broom.
be the kitchen, the regular
It's our
traditional size
inside kitchen broom.
on there. It's a little bit smaller, but you can use it outside.
It's just a smaller,
And I
lighter
do
broom.
sell a fair amount of the black ones, but I also sell a lot of the outdoor ones on there. Yeah, I try to take 6 or 7 dozen with me to each of the shows, and sometimes you come home with 4, sometimes you come home with, you only sold 4. You know, it really depends on the promoter. The weather plays a big game on there, and location. I always ask to be near the bathroom or the food. On there is what I found seems to work.
So
Yes.
our biggest show that we go to is the Pottstown Folk Festival. And we are there for 9 days. It's the Saturday before 4th of July, because it's always during the 4th of July. And that's from 9 to 6 every day. And we have been in the same corner now for 18 years. So they know where we are.
How can somebody get a hold of you?
We sell on Etsy. We did not bring any cards because we're not the best business people. No. on there, we didn't bring technology.
Yeah, we're batting 1,000 here, because we
on the-
had all that information in the
Anyhow, it's
PowerPoint.
the business name is Country Brooms. Okay, and it's Country Brooms at AOL, because I'm old-fashioned and I still like to pay like 3 different fees for my internet. Yeah, on there. But
We will, this Saturday, we'll be at
Daniel Boone.
Daniel Boone Middle School for their Daniel Boone Optimus Spring Show is this week. So we'll be there this week. And then if you check on Facebook,
I don't know
Country
what that
Brooms
is.
at Facebook, we have all of our, I control that. And we put on where we're going to be each week. So-
Do you also make as many as he does?
Do I make them? I'm allergic to the material.
Isn't that great?
So I break out in hives.
Especially when I rake the seed.
Yeah,
gotta
so
get
I
it
have a
in there.
hard time with that.
And I think I
So
lost-
I sell and promote the business. I'm the business partner end kind of it, which he'll need that. I'm public relations, yes, definitely. And he's the maker.
Yes. Yes, I do it. I bring the battery charged drill now and do that there, because I find that they hook together when I go to load and unload.
Oops. It's a domino effect.
Yeah, we don't sell glass
We
anyway.
don't sell glass, as you can tell.
On there, but when you put them in the truck, they all get stuck together. Anyhow, I ran into this box a few years ago. I'm trying to get some answers about it.
You would know.
Yeah, it was a wholesale grocer that was in the Pottstown area. By the railroad? Okay, I know there was a William Achenbach that was a press photographer for the United Associated Press, and he lived in Edgewood on there. Achenbach, yeah.
They used to have a place down on South Street
Okay,
in Pottstown.
okay. Yeah, that's what, like I said, I ran into this box somewhere along the way, and I was determined to keep it.
I
and I thought I wanted to share it with everybody here.
How well it stores those wood.
Yeah, that's,
We do have a picture of it.
okay, maybe I'll have to get a copy of that or
Now,
something.
that could have been, also, that could have been down on High Street too, because they
Yeah.
were there before that.
Okay,
And
I also want to,
The other side.
I want to present this to the society on there. On there, this is a 100th anniversary 2 years ago of Dana. On there, I have a couple friends that shop in the store that work at Dana, and they made a big production of giving me a couple of these vehicles. And I was like, I think it belongs here more than sitting on my shelf at home. On there, but I'd like you to have that. Okay, but yeah, they've actually been here in Pottstown for 103 years. They make drivetrains and universal joints.
You evidently didn't read my last newsletter.
I'm sorry.
apparently he doesn't.
No, it's in my back pocket. I just picked it out.
You'll learn all
Okay,
about Dana.
good.
Yes.
But I think that will add to your.
Well, we apologize for our technology not working
I don't
and,
think anybody missed it.
Okay.
and that he kind of gotten off the beaten path.
Oh, well.
But he always does that. And that is why I'm usually here to say, wait a minute, let's.
We need to get a little practice in like
Yeah.
Well, we should, yeah, we
This is the
should.
third time we've been out on the road for the speaking part.
We-
This is a little aside. They're good for something else besides sweeping dirt. I read an article years ago about Russia, how, they get piles of snow in the city, and you know what the women do? Whenever there's like 1 inch of snow, they go out with these brooms.
That's what the sidewalk broom.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I
Yes,
I
broom.
use mine
Yep.
all the time for that.
However, we had someone buy one that lived up the Poconos, and he said, my broom is ruined. You said I could use it on snow. And I went, yeah, a dusting of snow. He goes, well, 3 inches is a dusting. And I went, no.
Probably set it in the corner.
Yeah.
No.
I guess up there it's a dusting.
I guess up there it's a dusting. Well, I don't know about you, but I missed snow this year. I know, no,
I miss it every chance I get.
yeah. But, yes. Oh, with us, yes. So, thank you so much for coming today. We appreciate it. Thank you for your love of history, because we need to keep history alive. And I tell that, I work at Boyertown High School, and I tell, we need to keep, we don't want history to repeat itself. So we have to have them knowledgeable on what's going on history-wise. So, thank you very much.